In this video, I'm going to take a look at a game which is a miniature. The game could have ended a lot sooner than it did, but my opponent didn't feel like resigning, and while the game dragged on longer than it should have. But I don't mind because, well, then I can test my technique and see how quickly I can basically force my opponent to resign just by giving them no hope or chance at counterplay. Now, normally I play e4, but here I decided to open with d4. And, well, my opponent played d5, and it's also interesting when you start playing the same individual several games on the same day, and you do that for like a few days, then you really start to get to know their strengths and weaknesses and their opening repertoire, among other things. So c4, the queen's gambit, e6, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5. Here, knight bd7. This has all been seen before, thousands of times. e3, and here my opponent just blundered, so he obviously didn't know the opening, and it's actually one of the things that I noticed when I played d4 against them the first time. Here the most common move, or the most popular move, is c6. Now there are quite a few other moves, bishop e7, h6, but b6 just loses on the spot. Well, not like, but it's just a blunder. You're down a pawn basically, which I saw immediately. I was like, wait, what? And yeah, I mean, after you take, well, I can take because the knight is pinned. So I thought, well, okay. And my opponent actually took the knight. So, but what the engine recommends is bishop b7, and, well, after something like bishop c4, knight takes and takes. Okay, white is obviously better because there's an extra pawn. White has the two pawns in the center. This knight is probably going to have to go to f3. But, okay, this is still a game. But after knight takes, well, I'm just winning a queen. And I don't know if it was fatigue that my opponent just blundered, because he'd been playing since before I got there, and then we played several games. So, I don't know. And, well, after this, he threw in the bishop check. Obviously, I can only block with the queen, which I wasn't gonna do. So king e2. And here, probably bishop a6 check was better than what he did, which was to take the bishop, which now allows me to play queen b3, although probably queen a4 was better according to the engine. Not that it matters much, I mean, I'm up a queen. So check, and here I didn't really want to go to f3, according to the engine, it's fine, but if you go king f3 after bishop b7, if you play something like king g3, now you're like lost, I think, or at least it's like equal-ish. Now the engine is only at depth 15, but trust me, it can start to get very dangerous after something like knight f6. If the position is equal and you're up a queen for 2 pieces, then something's wrong, like really bad. So I just went back with the king, and well, he took my bishop, and I took the knight. I'm attacking the rook. I'm defending the pawn, which means that I'm also defending this rook. So rook c8, knight f3, and here my opponent got greedy and took the pawn, which is kind of what I was hoping for, because now I can go rook g1, and now I can capture on g7 and activate my rook. Although I actually missed queen g5 check, which would have ended the game, I guess, because, well, now I'm just up a queen for a bishop. So maybe my opponent would have resigned in, after something like this. I mean, this is hopeless. But instead, here he took, which I thought it was a very bad idea, just because giving up the pair of bishops. I mean, I have 2 rooks and a queen, so the 2 bishops can be very powerful against the 2 rooks. So I thought that maybe bishop h3 with the idea of going back to e6 would be better. Now the best move in this position is knight e5, but let's say I played something like rook c1, just activating the last of my pieces after bishop e6. Well, okay, this should still be winning for white, but with the pair of bishops, I think it puts up more resistance than what actually happened in the game, just trading. And now my opponent played this move, but okay, then I just take on g7 like I was going to. So the bishop goes back, and well, rook c1. And after knight c6, well, I just played rook c6, just stopping this pawn from going forward. I'm also attacking the knight. And if you look at black's pieces, they're all pretty much tied to their squares. If the knight moves, well, then the rook can't move because the pawn is hanging. The bishop is protecting the knight, so it can't move. This rook can only go to these 2 squares. And well, I mean, what is the king gonna do? My opponent played king d7, which allows this capture. So I'm getting 2 pieces for the rook, which means that now I'm up a queen for a rook, and well, this should be pretty much game over. And after this, well, I just took the pawn with check, and here my opponent resigned because, okay, it's pretty clear that there is no way he's going to survive this position. In fact, the third best move is actually mating 4, and the second best move is giving as plus 17, so that's at depth 27. So yeah, I mean, this is just, there's nothing to do here. So, well, I was pretty happy with my play, considering that I'm not really a d4 player and I don't really know the theory that well. But I guess my opponent doesn't know it either, because, well, if he did, he wouldn't have blundered by playing b6 so early in the game. And, well, after you blunder a pawn, you don't just let your emotions take control of you and just recapture and give up the queen. Just, okay, admit that you made a mistake and play the game down a pawn, as opposed to just going crazy and giving away everything. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, and if you did, hit the like button and share and subscribe, and thank you for watching.